Okie doke. So now we'll hear from our com boards for the first time this year. And first up is Emma and Simon. No, I didn't see him.
Kia ora koutou, thank you for the opportunity to present to you today. Apologies from Simon, he's stuck at work. It's good to be back reporting to you on what's been happening in our Waipapa Papanui Inner Central Community Board area over the past few months. You'll see here we've had a few public forum presentations in December, including an update on the progress of the Te Oraka Community Pools Initiative. This is a really exciting collaboration between a number of local Shirley community groups and the Ministry of Education to get their Shirley Intermediate pools back up and running as a community-led and managed facility. They understand the need for the pools to be sustainable and so are working on innovative ways to ensure ongoing operating costs are manageable. Term 4 last year saw the opening of a new youth space in Northlands Mall, which our board helped fund through our Better Off funding. The collaboration between Papanui Youth Development Trust and Te Ora Hau enables youth workers to be based at the space, which is in a vacant retail spot right next to the entrance to the mall. It's on the route that students from Papanui High School take to get from school through to the super bus stop on Main North Road, and provides a safe space for young people to gather and connect with youth workers and eventually other agencies as well. Travelling to and from the big new retail development at Northlink on Landons Road got easier towards the end of last year, with the new traffic lights at the Greers Landons intersection being completed ahead of schedule. You've heard us talk before at length about the issues with traffic along this busy corridor in the heart of Papanui. And although this doesn't solve the problems at the other end of Langdon Road near Northlands, it does make it easier for northbound traffic to exit the area instead of circling back around by the mall. We've had a couple of exciting community celebrations that we as a board were involved in recently, with the official opening of Little Poland Park, coinciding with the 80th anniversary of the children's arrival in New Zealand. And there was a big turnout for the Edgware Pool sod turning as well. You may have seen in the media last month about the concerns from Shirley residents about the removal of 20 trees in Emmett and Riselaw Street. These are massive, great big street trees, which need to be dealt with in order to comply with electricity regulations and to address safety concerns. After hearing the concerns of the community, staff attended a meeting with residents, apologised for the communication problems around the planned removals, and agreed to delay the work. Our local staff are working closely with the community so that they can help determine what happens to the felled trees and to collaborate on the replanting plan. The end of last year saw us present our board's 2024 Rangatahi Civic Awards at our local schools, and you can see a few of them being presented there at Te Aratai College, Pareawa Banks Ave School and Papanui High. It's been a busy time over the summer with community events in our area, and you can see a few of them there. And then finally, last slide, the great collaboration between Council's Parks team and local communities continues with a few examples pictured there. That's all from us.
Brilliant. Thank you. Tyler has a question.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Thank you so much for that. And thanks for inviting me to check out the youth space. It was a phenomenal space. I just wanted to brush over the benefits of having that youth space in Northlands Mall and how you guys got within the partnership that you had with Northlands Mall. Would you be able to just elaborate a bit more on it?
There was some amazing work done by those two local community groups who work with youth. They, Papanui Youth Development Trust especially, has over the years worked with the mall when there has been issues with students. It's a hub for students. You've got Papanui High there, you've got St Bede's down the road, Marion College there now. You've got students travelling north on buses from St Andrews and from the central city heading north. So it was a really great idea that collaboration of groups came up with, and we as a board were really happy to be able to help support them with that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And I went to the that Northlands Mall. It was absolutely fantastic. It's a great initiative. So well done. Pauline?
Are there any other malls that have got that around Christchurch? Do you know? Does anyone know?
Don't know. But
I'm working on record at the moment.
Yeah.
They've taken the bull by the horns, and they've done a fantastic job for young people to go and just feel.
Yeah, I think Northlands is quite unique in the fact that they reckon there's about 500 students from Papanui High School pass through there every afternoon after school. Yeah.
So it's worked very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okie doke. So we now have Horseville Hornby Rickerton, which is Marie and Helen, please.
Yes, right.
Magandang umaga at manigong bagong taon po sa inyong lahat. Good morning and Happy New Year to all. I hope you all had a good break during the holidays like I did. Okay? Now,
But
thank
you were in
you.
the Philippines.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity of presenting the report of the Waipuna Holswell Hornby Rickerton Community Board for the months of November and December 2024. Now, for the first part of our presentation, I will just touch on bits of the decisions made by the Community Board under delegation. I'm sure you have all received our detailed report, so if you have any questions about anything, I'd appreciate dealing with it at the end of our presentation. First off, so in the last 2 months, board made decisions on the following. So the traffic islands on Rickerton Road, as we all know, the safety improvements at the Church Corner intersection involving Rickerton Road, Main South Road, and Yaldhurst Road was quite contentious. I won't go into the detail anymore, but at its meeting on December 4th, the council approved option C, and as a result of that decision, the community board was required to make a decision on the removal of the 3 traffic islands on the south side of Rickerton Road. It is because that the plan that was approved by council did not include the 3 islands on the south side of Rickerton Road. In any case, the staff report addressed the notice of motion put forth by Councillor Peters at the meeting, and the board approved the removal of those 3 traffic islands. I'm not sure if it's still there. It's been removed already. It's still there. So in progress. Next one is the granting of the lease of 44 Canada Crescent in Hornby. This was pretty straightforward. The board has now authorized the manager of property consultancy to finalize the lease and term conditions. The lease terms and conditions. Yeah. Next is as part of the urban forestry planting program, the board was asked to approve the planting and removal of trees within Quarry View Drainage Reserve. There were mixed community views about the removal of a row of poplar trees. Now, during consultation, almost half of the respondents expressed concern about the removal of the poplar trees and expressed either a desire for the trees to be retained or for the removal to be staggered and to allow the newly planted trees to grow up first. The board considered deputations at the meeting expressing concerns of residents living right next to the row of poplar trees. The main concerns were about the stability of the trees, so safety issues, and shading as well. But after much deliberation, the board approved the officer recommendations without change. The Mills Road speed humps was pretty straightforward as well. This was for the replacement of existing rubber speed cushions with asphalt speed humps. And this is near the intersection with William Britton Ave and Kearns Drive. The rest, I'll just skip through that. And so we'll pass on to Helen.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Marie. We've got quite a milestone here in the Upper Rickerton War Memorial Park. The background is that the building was unsafe. I got a call from an engineer ages ago saying the building's unsafe. I had to take it to the board. The board checked it out with, in fact, an engineer, and it was unsafe. The question then is, what do we do with that land? And it's a no-brainer, really, to have it as a park, because if we had sold it, it wasn't clear where the money would go. Would it go to us or, in fact, the Crown? So this is going to be a real enhancement. It's a park, and it's a real enhancement for the Upper Rickerton community. Moving on to the Hornby Community Centre Open Day, and this is a board priority, as was the Upper Rickerton Park. So there was a celebration to hand over the ownership to the Hornby Community Care Trust. A Rickerton Fun Day, I'll pass briefly over and hand back to, in fact, Marie. Or I'm doing La Vida. And the La Vida Youth Trust had a 20-year celebration. So they've been there 20 years and doing a lot of good youth work. Thanks,
Right.
Marie.
Okay, and so we've had our community service and youth service awards the last couple of months. We have presented a total of 16 awards at 12 events. And then we've had the Holswell Community Garden Open Day, and I'm running out of time. We've had Better Off Fund Matatiki Play Space Project. It was a Matatiki pop-up play session to gather community feedback for the development of a new play space through the Better Off Fund. And then my last presentation, I think I mentioned already, the Holswell Quarry Park Run. This is still being held weekly, every Saturday morning, with locations all over the world. Now, just lastly, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to celebrate the vibrant Filipino culture and community at the Philippines Day event on Sunday, February 23rd from 12 noon to 5 p.m. at Ray Blanc Park. It'll be filled with amusements and outdoor games, live music, songs, and cultural dances, a variety of food stalls serving delicious Filipino cuisine, and who knows, you might even win a raffle prize like the mayor did last year. So please come and celebrate with us.
What happens when you buy half a book?
Cool. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Thank you. Looking forward to going to that. Sorry, Jan, we haven't got any quick time for that one. Next, we have Coastal Burwood Linwood, which is Paul and Jackie. Now, because I've got a number of Part A's, they've got 10 minutes.
Right, tēnā koutou. E te kura mātua me ngā kaunihira I tēnei wiki I whakanui ana tātou hei whenua I tō tātou whakatūranga me te hira o te pupuri I te tiriti. Kia ora. I'd like to start by mentioning a few of the amazing events in the East over the summer period. We had the Woolston Gala, which is the first for several years. We hadn't had any events in Woolston, and we had used 3 years of funding from the board's Better Off Fund. So we've got it coming another 2 years as well. And we had about 1,000 people attending, and the gala celebrated all the positive things that Woolston has to offer, which is a lot. And then the Marshland Hall Trust, whoopsie daisy there. The Marshland Hall Trust again put on an excellent event, and then the Summer Splash 24 Christmas Pool Party, which is the last of a series of fresh pool parties held on the 13th of December at Te Pou Toi Toi. One of the other excellent things in the Woolston area. And we're also celebrating Te Pā o Rākai Hautu, which is a local Māori integrated special character school. In 2024, a group of 8 Year 13 students submitted an entry for the Zayas Sustainability Prize 2025. The school found out they were finalists for the award in November, leaving very little time to raise funds they needed to travel to Abu Dhabi for the ceremony. Being nominated for that award is momentous, and recognising this, our community board resolved as a group to provide the group a grant of $3,500 towards travel costs so that they could attend, and they won. Ka rāwe, awesome. And also, Jackie recently opened Avon Park, but work is continuing on the lower part of the park, and we opened in the coming months, starting with the court in January. I don't know if it has been opened. The CDC Path Connection, exploratory trails and large swing will be opened around the end of the year, with the entire park being planted out and around the October 2025. So that's a really awesome bit of work. And now on to some of our issues. Jackie.
Morena, everyone. Portlink, the people lost. It came out just before Christmas that containers cannot be viewed as a building, and they can now take the container height higher. I think it's a sad indictment on our society that big money can crush people. And this is what has happened in this event. the winners tell me that it's very legal what they have done to the people in this community with their containers, their noise, their dust, and their disruption to the quiet enjoyment of their homes. Well, it can be legal, but I don't think it's moral. I think it's appalling that people can go in with big money and totally screw over a whole community of people, reducing their property values and reducing the quiet enjoyment of their homes. I think it's very sad that we can just sit here and go, okay, well, that's it. And that's pretty much it. What this city council, I mean, obviously not you individuals that are around it today, but this city council put a plan in place that made this possible for rich people to hurt people who work hard for a living, who invested in property, who now can't enjoy their homes. That's it.
And we'll continue to work with that Wilson community there, and we have a meeting coming up which we'll be discussing this matter again and how we can support them. The other issue I wanted to raise is the Maces Dyers traffic lights, which we would like to be installed. So St John Street Bromley runs between Maces and Linwood Ave, and it has a heavy traffic restriction, but despite this, trucks and off-duty buses use it as a rat run regularly, as they do a number of other Bromley streets. So we believe that lights at the intersection of Maces and the State Highway, coupled with narrowing of the St John's Maces intersection, would make a big difference. So we would like your support, perhaps by writing to NZTA about the lights and in the annual plan for the narrowing of the St John's Maces intersection. We also have a couple of Part A reports. We have the City to See East Safety Improvements, Avondale Road Crossing. And this is just about safety, and it has the added benefit of reducing speed along a key school route to Chisnawood Intermediate and Hayata. And then Rocking Horse Road right-of-way leases. So this is straightforward. Although we had to kind of redecide because it was actually a recommendation to you, and all you're being asked to do is approve the leasing of redundant red zone driveways on the western side of Rocking Horse Road from Godwit Street to Mermaid Place to immediate neighbours. The terms and conditions are in the report. It's fairly straightforward. And then we have the Marine Parade street renewal project. I really want to thank staff for working with us and the community to get an option for this. That is a synthesis of what the community wanted. Initially, we had two options that the community was divided on. However, on my request and Celeste's request, the staff provided a third option. We workshopped it with stakeholders and the staff consulted on it, and the feedback was excellent. And this is how local government should work. We collaboratively with elected members and staff in the community and work together for the best outcome we can get. So your support for this would be much appreciated. And finally, I just wanted to mention a topic of mine, the local alcohol policy. I'd just like to urge you to support consulting and completing the local alcohol policy prior to the election. And our board area is the worst affected by alcohol-related harm, and that comes disproportionately from off licences and in the 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. window. Toi tu te hau ora, toi tu te tangata, toi tu te tiriti. Kia ora.
Okay, Tim, please.
Yeah, thank you. Just
And you.
two quick things. With the rat running, I know that Cashmere and Centaurus Road were rat running for trucks trying to dodge the 18 lights on Brougham Street, but with the with the safety measures that we've put in for the schools at the roundabouts and along, that's now changed and they're now sticking to the 18 lights, and that's been noticeable. So that they do work no matter what people say, and it's safer for the kids, etc. The second one is with regards to Portlink. The RMA, I mean, let's face it, since Geoffrey Palmer drafted it, has totally changed. It was done centrically for communities and the environment, and it's certainly, you now have a crow, I think a group of lawyers is called a crow of lawyers on one side and a community on the other. Two things we need from that, I think, is do we need to look harder at our city plan to have more of a cushion between community and industrial, because industrial
Absolutely.
isn't a bad word because it employs a lot of people and helps the city drive.
I'm just wondering, from your experience, what you're thinking.
No, absolutely, and very supportive of putting in a transitional zone around industrial areas. I mean, obviously that's under discussion at the moment, and we're looking forward to hearing more about it.
Well, thank you very much. Cheers.
Yanni, please.
I was just wondering if staff are maybe able to respond to the Portlink issue, given that it was an interim decision. Declarations or further information was supposed to be provided by the 31st of January around what the actual outcomes will be. Are staff in a position to actually update the council over what's happening? Because we haven't seen what the filings have been, and I'm aware that it's in front of the court still.
I can. It's probably best I consider that question a bit further, but I can send out a memo by end of today covering that.
I think that would be useful. And can staff also just give an update? Obviously, there's been formal council requests to do the plan change. Are you able just to give us an update on the time frame for getting something in place, given that that was in the decision one of the key issues that the judge highlighted, that we should be trying to fix our city plan rather than deal with issues on the consent
I'll
basis?
include that in the memo, and there is a briefing coming to the board towards the end of February as well.
Thank you, Yanni. Kelly?
Thanks, Paul. Obviously, you have quite a bit of experience and interest in the LAP. Just in terms of on licences, do you think that they should be included in the LAP at this stage, or do you think we should just focus on off licences and timings of...
I think, what you're deciding today is simply to proceed in the development or not. I wouldn't want to conflate those two things, and you should definitely proceed.
Okay. Excellent.
Thanks.
Chris Gold, thank you very much. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, Banks Peninsula, we have Lynn and Penelope, please. And they have 10 minutes as well.
Morena, everyone. It's nice to see your faces. It feels like a long time. I hope we've had a good break, if you managed to get one. Okay. Today, I have the pleasure of telling you all about the exciting happenings around Banks Peninsula since November last year. The Christmas holidays saw an influx of people relaxing, playing and gathering at our Banks Peninsula reserves. You may have even done so yourself. Awesome. Many of these reserves are looked after by our 14 reserve committees, who volunteer their time to maintain and develop the reserves, working alongside our awesome parks team. The board also has representatives who attend their regular meetings, and we also receive meeting minutes so that we stay up to date with all the things our reserve committees are doing to enhance and protect these wonderful reserves. And as you can see, we've had a bunch of reserve committee meetings there. Minutes received. As you can see also on the PowerPoint, there is a discretionary response funding of over $18,000 granted. Of particular interest to note is the $10,600 that went to various Banks Peninsula emergency hubs to finance setup costs and equipment that will be crucial during a natural disaster or the like. It's good to see those hubs doing great work. We approved more storage space for the Birdlings Flat Community Centre to store equipment used in their creative hub. Now this seems like quite a small thing, but it's actually a pretty big thing, as it will allow them to use the extra room for health and wellness providers, etc., instead of it storing tables and chairs. So it's a real win for the community. There are 2 Part A reports that you need to hear about. We agreed to council acquiring We agreed to council acquiring deeds land along the road, stopping the amalgamation at the corner of Harmons and Voilas Road in Littleton. This will tidy up classification and paperwork. After this process is complete, land status will reflect current land occupation. There will be no impact to the community. And we agreed to the revocation of reserve status on a small block of land at 3 Bantry Road in Wainui to enable the neighbour to purchase it. 177 Purdue Ave. At our meeting on the 28th of January, after hearing 15 deputations and reading the 364 submissions, the board determined that reserve status should be revoked and the land at 177 Purdue Ave, known as Purdue Maori Reserve, to be returned to Ngāti Wheki. The property is an urupa, or burial site, which was not recognised or protected under this current reserve status and is of historic and cultural significance to Ngāti Wheki. It's been over a century getting to this point, and I felt honoured to chair the meeting and brought it all together. I'm grateful the board was entrusted with this responsibility to make the decision on behalf of the community. We believe that the return of this land to Te Hapua Ngāti Wheki as kaitiaki of the urupa just makes sense and is the right thing to do. It is worth noting that one of the deputations was in Te Reo Māori and interpreted by Ross Paniora from Council's Treaty Partnership team. Thanks goes to Ross for that. He did a great job. And thanks to staff for supporting this whole process. All right, next page. What we heard from our community, some quick but important things to note. The Little River Trust spoke about the history of the Coronation Library, currently waiting to undergo restoration work, and the work the trusts have done to prepare for activation. Keep your ear to the ground for expected progress on this soon. We are nearly there. The Seafarers Centre presented a case to occupy space in the proposed refresh of the Donald Street stables. They were referred to Christchurch NZ, who are spearheading the project, and I also want to say thanks to the Seafarers, who do an amazing job over in Littleton with what they do. We agreed to look at refreshing the Littleton Arts Council mural, commemorating the arrival of the first European settlers to Littleton in time for the 175th anniversary. And in open forums, we heard an Akaroa resident put forward an interesting case to change the name of Drummond's Jetty to Davis Jetty. You try saying that fast 10 times. Noting the rich history many of the Davis family had with the jetty. And happily, the community around Allendale are excited with the progress to get back into their hall after the board supported the quickest possible repair to Allendale Hall, with the view that a longer-term solution may still be obtainable through a long-term plan sometime in the future. I know that they are chuffed. And submissions made. Leading up to the Christmas was a particularly busy time for the board, and we made 5 submissions. Here's just a few that I'm mentioning today. Banks Peninsula was the pilot area for the first Coastal Hazard Adaptation Plan, as you're aware, and Asif made a presentation to you here last week on behalf of the Community Board. We need an adaptation plan soon, and it is encouraging to see so much public engagement that will continue to guide us. But we need to start somewhere, and good luck with that process. It's important. The dog control policy and bylaw was another hot topic, with lack of dedicated dog exercise area in Littleton, resulting in the proposed lifting of leash requirements at the Littleton Recreation Grounds. It's one of the few flat green spaces in the area, and we know that dogs need an exercise area, but we hope that the council will help us find a suitable alternative, as sporting teams regularly have to comb the fields for dog poo prior to games, which is not great. And finally, our last page. In November, our wonderful parks team took the board on a field trip to Te Oka Reserve on Banks Peninsula. It was a great day and beautiful part of the world. They told us about their project to reintroduce the endangered mottled petrel to the area. The preparation work they are doing will protect the birds from predators and bad weather. It's very encouraging to see. And lastly, on the right here, our Honourable Mayor Phil Major and an Army sapper used an axe to cut the cake, marking 50 years since the New Zealand Army Royal New Zealand Engineers obtained the Charter of Akaroa. This gives a regiment the right to enter a city fully armed and ready for action, with drums, colours unfurled, swords drawn and bayonets fixed. The occasion was celebrated with a charter parade through Akaroa.
That's scary.
This recognises the very close relationship between the civic authority and the regiment, and it was a sight to see.
We better keep it that way. It's a very sharp axe, I'll tell you that.
Yes.
No,
right, so what a time we've had. Thank you for yours. Is there any questions?
Yes, we have one from Tyrone, please.
Kia ora, thank you. Thanks, Lynn. Been very busy. Now, just regarding the Purdo, the Māori Reserve in Purdo, and I would say I don't personally think I'll ever make a more significant decision as a community board member, however long I'm a community board member for. But I understand you mentioned that one of the submissions was delivered entirely in Te Reo. Now, my understanding is that the person who did that spoke German as a first language.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
And yet somehow managed to deliver an entire 5-minute deputation entirely in Te Reo and answered all questions in Te Reo. Was that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's my understanding too, that she's from Germany. So
10 minutes.
how many minutes?
10.
10 minutes. 10-minute deputation. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, well
And
done.
then also Ross translated that. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. I've just got one wee one. Is Mr. Drummond happy that his name might be coming off as Wolf?
I haven't heard from Mr. Drummond.
He probably doesn't exist, mate. I don't know.
I don't know. So the process, we'll see, where that goes. So,
But it is. That's the one that's just been completed, isn't it? Outside Bully Hayes. Is that
Yes,
one?
yep.
Fantastic job. It's very, very good to see it back.
Yeah, great progress going on over there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Good on
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, so next we have Sprayden Cashmere Heathcote and just Callum, I think. Oh, right, yep. Welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, so apologies from Keir. He's still on holiday, lucky fellow. Tēnā koutou katoa. So just a brief update from us around some decisions made. So we've addressed some leasing issues around some of our existing clubs at Leonards Park and Mount Pleasant Tennis Club. We've renewed a few leases there, and approved a new pavilion and cricket net relocation for Leonards Park as well. We've also been busy with CRAF, with renewals taking place on Sefton Place and Norwood Street, Fisher Ave intersection in Beckenham. And we're really excited about a new pump track that's sort of being relocated and upgraded in the Ferrymead Park. In terms of our DRF, we've given out a number of sort of parcels of funding to different groups, some of which I'll address later. One that we're particularly excited about is the new hoop at Cornelius O'Connor Reserve, not Eddington Park. Thank you. I'll just jump forward. Oh no, that's the timer. I'll push that and then that. Boom. So we have a part A coming to you today around decommissioning some artwork. It was just, we think it's fairly straightforward in terms of process, and we'll be decommissioning the art and returning it to the family. It's simply put just a safety issue. They didn't come under the tree policy. They are in fact made of iron, so they're not real trees. So it had to go through a bit of a different process than that, but yeah, we recommend that the council approves the report coming through to you today. Community Service Awards. So we had a wonderful Community Service Awards in November last year. You can see the photo up there on the top. And that picture there on the right of the half basketball court at Cornelius O'Connor Reserve, that's been a real success, an example of massive, sort of goodwill and cooperation between the community, council staff, in terms of getting a result, getting a hoop installed in such a short period of time. Some of the kids you can see in that photo came to present to the board initially to request that hoop, and it's really important because it's in an area where, although as the crow flies it's quite close to some other hoops, it's actually separated by a huge, Brum Street and Morehouse Ave, so really big, heavy traffic roads. So it's a much more accessible location for a community with lots of kids. We expect that to get a huge amount of use and activate an area that isn't really used by too many teenagers at the moment. We also had the Sumner Skate Park and Village Green opening last year, which is a super special event for a fantastic area for the whole community to enjoy, and you can see some great photos of the event there. I'm sure Sarah might have some other comments to make about that as well. It was a great time. And then I guess another few sort of updates from our board is the South Library is all scaffolded up now. So that project's continuing on track, and with the new pop-up location in the Colombo Mall as well opening. The other thing as well that our board's got an interest in at the moment is the Port Hills plan. So we had a conversation with staff end of last year around it's more of a vision document really than a kind of operational plan. It'll be covering the Port Hills and integrated with the existing operational and management plans there as well. But we're really in the early stages now of engaging with the community around what that should look like. So staff are in the process of reaching out to different groups all across the hills, including landowners as well, to sort of get an understanding of what it is, what the vision for that part of our city should be.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all from us today.
Thank you. We've got time for one question. Sorry, Andre, you had your hand up first. And he's bigger than you. Okay, Tyler.
Mine's just towards staff. Thanks so much for that, guys. It's around the costings for that park, Cornelius O'Connor Reserve, and seeing if you're better, just send me an email. Cheers.
It should be noted that the reserve wasn't used for many years because of safety concerns from parents. We rebuilt Manuka Cottage there, which has changed that whole environment, and now that it is a focus for the young people and families in that area. And it's a pretty hard area, but it's absolutely fantastic to see this, and that's been driven by the board, which has a total change. Yeah, it's great. Cool.
Good work, thank you. Thanks very much for coming in. Okay, last but certainly not least is Jason and Marianne for Fennelton Waimari Harewood. Thank you. And I didn't write this bit.
A poor substitute for Marianne.
Good morning, everybody. So first up for us was some decisions made under delegation. Just quickly run through those. Approval of the Maclean's Grassland Park Reserve Management Plan, some landscape plan for native forests and walkways in the east part of Belfast Cemetery, athletics facilities at Fennelton Park for the UC Athletics Club, some no stopping restrictions, and some discretionary response funding applications. At our December meeting, we had a great presentation from Alan Ho, who is the manager of the Asian Community Transformation Trust. The trust was established in 2021 and focuses on addressing the needs of Asian immigrants in Christchurch, primarily in mental health and holistic wellbeing. They serve residents across the city with a significant presence in Avonhead, Burnside, Wigram and Hallswell. Alan pointed out to us that the Asian population in Christchurch has increased by 30% since 2018. The main challenges faced by this demographic include accessing services, mental health stigma, language barriers and cultural isolation. Some of the services they provide include seminars and courses on mental health, family dynamics and parenting, the design of tailored training and supervision for service providers working with Asian clients, interpretation services and cultural workshops for teachers. The Trust service users and volunteer base has tripled in just 1 year, and they are currently working with approximately 1,500 people and have over 150 volunteers. Next up. The first edition of the Avonhead Russley Community Directory has been completed. This directory highlights local services, activities, groups and sports clubs, providing a valuable resource for both new and long-term residents. A hard copy has been delivered to nearly 7,000 homes in the Avonhead and Russley area, and an electronic version is available which has been shared through local schools, community groups and sports clubs. The directory was produced by the newly formed Avonhead Russley Community Network, made up of a number of local groups. Compiling the directory has provided some key insights, including potential gaps and overlaps in community services, and provides a great opportunity to look at possible areas for collaboration and the delivery of new services to meet community needs. We have received great feedback from residents, with a number of them stating they have lived in the area their whole lives and had no idea of the services and activities available. A huge thanks to all the volunteers who helped make this project happen, particularly Daniel Price, who created the logo and designed the directory, and Petra Shepherd from the Avonhead Community Trust, who did a huge amount of work behind the scenes. A thank you also to the other funders and sponsors who joined with our board to support this project. It was another wonderful turnout for Celebrate Bishopdale and the Bishopdale Skate Jam in November. It was great to have so many fantastic organisations, groups and schools that are part of the vibrant Bishopdale community involved in our event. From the energetic and colourful performances on the stage to the appetising food stalls and a variety of activities for the kids, there was something there for everybody to enjoy. It was a special year for the event as we also celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Elephant Slide, which was built in the 1970s. Melanie Costa, a local author, read from her new children's book called Elephant Park at the event. The book has now won Storyline Notable Book Award. Proudly supported by the Fendalton Herwood Waimari Community Board, this fun family community event continues to attract the local community who are excited to support and see what is happening in their own community. A big thank you to all our staff and volunteers who assisted to make this event great. On the 28th of November 2024, around 35 people gathered at St Aidan's in Brynwer for the Fendalton Waimari Herwood Community Liaisons Thank You Breakfast. This event brought together community board reps, the local MP and leaders and workers from our local community groups and organisations. Supported by the community board, the breakfast recognised the remarkable contributions of those serving our local community. Guests enjoyed a relaxing morning with a lively game of human bingo, a delicious breakfast spread, a festive Christmas quiz, and time to connect with others. Bridget Williams, our Deputy Chair, offered a warm thank you to everyone for their dedication and the positive impact they have on our area. A special thanks go to St Aidan's Church for their generosity as hosts and our local community governance team for organising the event and preparing and serving the amazing breakfast. Thank you very much.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, and good to see you, Marianne. Right, I'm more than happy. Thank you to our com boards, and it's good to see them back for the start of the year. I'll move it, and Pauline will second it to receive their monthly reports. All those in favour? Against? Thank you. That's carried. We have no public forums or petitions today, but before we get on to the one deputation we've got, I don't know if you've seen the front page of Le Paper. See that?